Hello, good evening guys. Hello, it's almost 9 o'clock, just a minute to 9 or so. I'm setting up my, there we go. I'm setting up my Insta and we can go live. Excellent. Fun, exciting. Hello, hi. I'm gonna try and do it actually the other way around because it seems that it's a little bit better like this. So, more fun. Hello guys. Good evening. Hello. I have my Facebook, I have my Insta. We can go live. I'm gonna just turn on the laptop. Okay, so it's 9 o'clock guys, and what we're going to be doing is my most probably one of my favorite kind of topics and projects, which I call the School of Nutrition. So as you know guys, we kicked it off 2 weeks ago, I think, and it's really one of the things that I kind of really enjoy doing, which is inspiring people, sharing my knowledge, sharing the things that I love to do. For the ones that don't know me, my name is Anastasia. I'm one of the health ambassadors of Amsterdam City, and I take great pleasure in doing what I do, which is basically trying and helping and inspiring people to live a healthy, active, happy, productive life. I have my morning workouts, and now every Monday, 9 o'clock, I started my latest project, which is called School of Nutrition. Why? Because, when we talk about the healthy life, healthy, active life, there is this proportion which says that about that what we eat, what we drink, and our rest is about 80% of how we also look and feel, or actually the other way around, how we feel and look, and 20% is the workout. So workout is very important, but of course the food, the nutrition, what we drink, our rest, it is actually 4 times more important. So over the years, I have with just very slight improvements, I have managed to shred about 40 kilos of weight. So I used to be 120 kilos. I'm pretty short in height, and I'm very happy with it. It gave me massive energy. It improved my overall well-being. I'm a work in progress, I always say, but what I've learned, I found it a big pleasure in sharing that. So what I like to point out always kind of in the beginning is that I do this out of great love for helping and supporting people, but I definitely don't know everything. I actually know that I know that I don't know everything. I know that I'm definitely not the wisest or the most educated person, but I definitely bring my own perspective and view of things and what I've learned, and that's what I want to bring to you guys. So without sort of further ado, after a little intro, I find it always kind of very important, especially for the people that are logging in for the first time, that I can give a little intro. We can kickstart the School of Nutrition. We're going to try and keep it within sort of max half an hour. So a couple of words. I have my kind of presentation that I'm checking. I just want to make sure that everything is here. What is this project, the School of Nutrition? It is really meant for anybody that wants to either whatever wellness goals you might have, whatever goals you might have to reach about yourself, whether that will be more energy, whether that would be bringing your weight into control, whether that would be becoming fit and active, no matter what it is, or just simply sort of improving your well-being, your vitality, or you feel like you need to bring some extra knowledge, clarification, yeah, whatever it is, it's for everybody. It is valued to be about sort of the whole course, which is gonna take several weeks, or the whole series, let's say 12, 13 lives, let's put it that way. It's about sort of €60, but in these times, I think the value of the money is much less important than the value of our health. So that's why it's for really everybody out there. So if you have any friends, family, because I want to keep it a little bit fun, a little bit interesting also. So if you have any friends, family, anybody that you know that either wants to come along with you and do this together with you, it's always much more fun with friends. Or you might want to help them out and invite them so they can follow this and learn something. Again, weight management, fit and active, gaining weight, losing weight, more energy, whatever it is, guys. It's just feel free to invite your friends. We're going to kickstart today with the first thing, which is protein, but we're going to go through things like healthy carbs, healthy fat, the importance of breakfast, metabolism, emotional eating. We're gonna pre-post workout meals, so we're gonna really cover a lot of stuff. You can comment, you can ask me things. I'll try to see if I can follow either sort of to reply now online or maybe after the live. So how we're gonna do it is I think the most important of all is, if you decide to change something, guys, please, one very, very big request, make sure that you track your progress. It's not about perfection. It's about really just taking these very, very small steps and making sure we follow through. So it should be fun. It should be fun while doing it. It should give you energy instead of sort of taking and depriving you from the energy. So make sure one thing, progress first rather than perfection. I want you to remember that I will be here if you want to ask me, not only to live, but afterwards, if you feel like you want to ask questions, or if you feel like you want to know more, or if you feel like you're stuck somewhere and you want to sort of have a second opinion, you can always count on me. I'm coaching and supporting and advising people, so I'll be more than happy to do that for you guys, so don't feel restricted in any sense. Right, so how we're gonna go is first, I think I'll be mentioning this especially in the beginning. I would really, just to make it more fun, I would really advise you guys to sort of, after this, you can take your measurements. So what you're going to do is, just to make it a little bit, especially for the ones that want to track your progress, physical progress as well. So take your measurements. You're going to take your weight. So you're going to go on the scale and you're going to take your weight. And what you're going to do, you're also going to measure your waist, right? So that's what we talked about this the previous time. I'll share the link with you guys explaining how you can do the measurement. Basically, it's really just measuring your waist, and we're going to track that. So it's the weight and the waist. Those are sort of the most important things. Another thing is what you can do, and this is for you guys. You don't have to share any of it with me, but is take a picture. What you can do is just take a front picture and take a side picture of yourself. You can do it with clothes, without clothes, whatever you want to do. Be my guest. But sometimes we forget, in the process, we forget how far we've come. And when we look at that picture, we go like, oh, wow, there is actually a difference. So the measurements, so the weight, waist, and your picture, it's going to make it a little bit more fun, right? Otherwise, it's just sort of very, very basic. So one of the first things that people tend to ask is, why am I facing the challenges that I'm facing, whether it will be too much weight, too less weight, whatever it is. Mostly in this in today's world, unfortunately, there is a massive population of overweight, of serious overweight. So I might refer to that more than any other topic, but that doesn't mean that the other ones are not as problematic. So what is the general problem actually, and why are we facing that? So the funny thing is that there is a very simple answer to that. So it is disbalance. The way we eat today is not balanced. It's not that it's not healthy. A lot of us eat healthy. It's not that it's, I'm not talking about a healthy and unhealthy. I'm talking about a balance and disbalance. And there is a difference. You might eat healthy, but you might eat disbalanced. So what I mean by that, again, I'm kind of checking the slides, is that, no matter how healthy something might be, if you eat too much or too less, it's considered to be disbalance, right? So that's first thing. The second thing is that when you sit and eat your meal, it's also very, very important how you compose that meal. How much of what do you have on your plate? That's also balanced. It's very important. It's also very important not only per meal, but in general, the total day. What do you eat and how much of each food group do you eat? And something that is also quite important is that sometimes we mix emotions in the eating, or we are distracted and we simply don't pay attention. So that also unfortunately sort of forces us to not think about what is it that we eat. So that means that again, sort of, we as humanity, we are facing a bit of a problem which is called unbalanced diet. So when people ask me, what is it that you do? I don't say I eat healthy. I actually say I try to eat balanced. And the people that have asked me this, they know, because they've heard this answer from myself. So what does it mean to be the balance and unbalanced? What that means is that nowadays we tend to eat more of what we don't need and less of what we need. What do we don't eat? What we don't need and eat too much. So it's too much. Saturated fat, processed sugar, processed carbs, alcohol, medicine. Unfortunately, some of us try to sort of get to those quick fixes, or maybe there is a health problem that needs to be sort of fixed with medication. Unfortunately, through food, whether we like it or not, that's not a question. But we bring some pesticides. We bring hormones and those kinds of things. Of course, this is a very highly regulated industry, but still, these things do sort of happen. Again, whether we like it or not, that's another kind of thing, but that's the reality of things. So those are the things of the too much we bring into our body, which we don't actually need. The things we need, but we don't bring into the body, it's very, very, I think from this you're going to realize it's basically vitamins, minerals, proteins, healthy carbs, healthy fats, the physionutrient, what they call them. So those are the nutrients that are coming from the plants, water, sleep, all the things that we don't, we need, but we unfortunately don't bring too much. So the question is, can we then fix the problem of today's world, which is the serious overweight, with eating less? Just simply eating less, just calorie cutting. Unfortunately, it doesn't fix the problem, because what we tend to do is we simply sort of drop the calorie intake, which is good for the things that we don't need, but it's bad for the things we need, because when we cut across everything. We just count the calories. We don't think if it's a banana or a processed food, we just look at the calories and go like, oh yeah, banana has more calories than this, so I'm gonna just eat this bar, chocolate, whatever it is, because this is it doesn't really, so we need to also think about the nutrition we cut. So when we cut across everything, unfortunately. That brings the body to a complete disbalance. So in short term we might lose weight, but in long term we have compromised our health. So the thing is that when that happens into our bodies, and I'm trying to just simplify things for you guys before I hit into the actual topic, which is the protein. What happens is that when our body doesn't get enough of what it needs and gets too much of what it doesn't need, which in theory are the toxins, our body goes like, oh, right, I don't have enough of what I need, so I'm just going to start saving, so I'm going to start really putting on what we say fat, so just excess. I'm going to pile up the excess because I simply don't know when I'm going to start getting the nutrients that I need. So it goes into a saving mode. The thing with our body is that and I'm really trying to if you Google things, if you look at things, as I said, I don't know everything. It's just that I'm trying to really simplify the things, but you're more than welcome to go out there and do more research if you wanna. So what happens is that our body cannot really distinguish between a short-term calorie cut or a long-term deficiency. It just goes into the moment the body gets the signal. It's like a thermostat, when the temperature drops, the thermostat goes on automatically. It doesn't think, are they gonna cut on the temperature for half an hour, or are they gonna do that for 3 months while they're away? No, it just drops, temperature goes on. That's the same with our body. Relatively simple, put in simple terms. I mean, what basically happens is that we drop on the good food, on the good nutrition. We go up with the toxins, and our body goes like, oh, okay, that's the signal. Drop, goes into the saving mode, and instead of us, we're gonna lose weight for a short term, but in a long term, we're doing a very, very we're putting our health in compromise, and unfortunately not our health only, but we tend to see those yo-yo effects. So you're on a diet, you stop the diet, after a while you go back to your weight, and not only your weight, but you really go sort of double than what you were before. So it's basically our body works in relatively simple terms, sort of calories in, calories out, but also the quality of the calories matters a lot. It's a very simple physical process. Again, calories in, calories out, but the quality of the calories, it's very, very important. So that means that we need to make sure that we bring to our body everything that our body needs. The question is, what are all the things that our body needs? And these are actually the most essential nutrients that we need to make sure we every day with every meal bring to our body, which is the proteins and the carbs. The 6 groups, let's say, the protein, carbs, vitamins, minerals, the good fat, the fiber, the phytonutrients, and water. So those are like the most sort of 6, and these are gonna be mentioned across this next sort of series. And this is what they're called kind of the 6 for success. So again, it's the most the pillars of our food, as I mentioned. So again, the 6 are protein, carbs, healthy carbs, vitamins, minerals, good fat, fiber, phytonutrients, and water. Because we talk about balance, the question is how much of each of these groups we need to bring into our body. So that's also very, very important, and I'm going to try and answer that. So when we talk about protein, we need to eat protein every single day. It's very important. When we talk about good carbs, we mean again, we will have separate sections and all of this, but when we talk about the good carbs, we mean the complex carbohydrates. When we talk about the importance of water, means we need to drink constantly water every day, and so on and so forth. The same goes for the workout, the same goes for sort of emotions and stress. So we need to have everything balanced. That doesn't mean that we're going to be top notch. No, we're going to have ups and downs, but across the whole sort of day, and we're going to stick to a day, not to a week or to a month or to whatever, but really day, across the day should be sort of balanced out. Okay. So proteins, and why proteins? Proteins are the building block of our body. So the protein is in every single of our cells, not only muscles. It really is a building block of literally everything, every cell we have in our body. If you want to go a little bit more in details about, sort of the science behind it, there is an amino acid which is the building block of the protein. And that's one of the essential parts of each of our cells. So really consider it like sort of Lego bricks, right? We kind of have little Lego bricks everywhere, which we need to maintain. When we talk about protein, weight loss, getting fit, and all that, it's actually very important because the protein helps also in the metabolic processes of our body. But what does that actually mean? It means that it is a food for our, again, not only cells, but really all of our muscles. So it helps all of our muscles. That means that the protein we're going to eat is going to help us build the muscles. The more muscles we have, and this we talked in the measurements, the more muscles we have, they are the engine of our body, so they're going to help us burn calories. Muscles really burn a lot of calories. They just need a lot of food, a lot of calories to just function. So the more muscles we have, the better it is because they will help us burn calories. So in essence, indirectly, and this is again very, very simplified, very, but in sort of very simple terms, if you work out and if you eat enough protein in combination with the rest as well, you actually help your body build up muscles, which will bring you to losing fat. So getting that healthy weight. The advice and of course we come to the topic of the healthy weight and all that, but the important thing is that and we kind of tackled on that the previous time, but it's important to mention it again, that protein is also something that helps the way that it's processed in the body and the way that it's absorbed in the body. Sort of it's a long metabolic process, which means when we eat protein, they keep us full. They just keep us full for a longer period of time. And sometimes people think when they have difficulties in energies, they think carbs. Not really. It's more about the protein, because protein is going to keep you full, and it's really gonna help on maintaining your hunger throughout the day. Which in return will help you not eat as much. It's going to help you cut down on the snacking. There's little things throughout the day we don't even mention, but they actually in total bring a massive calorie intake into our body. I will not go into some stats, but they generally kind of say that just by eating more protein, you kind of cut at least 100 calories per day. So just by eating enough protein. What is enough protein? About 30% of everything of the calorie intake per day should be, it is advisable. So 30% for a balanced life, for a balanced health, for balanced food, about 30% of everything we eat of the calorie intake per day should be, so third should be roughly, should be protein. We have different kinds of protein, and protein come from so we're going to talk a little bit about that. So we have protein that comes from animals, which is, like the meat or poultry. We have fish. We have milk protein or dairy products, eggs, nuts, seeds. They all contain protein. So bread has protein, soya and beans. So there are all kinds of different type of protein resources. How much should we eat per day? Because 30%, what does it really mean? It's a little bit vague, but depends on the activity it depends if you're a male or a female, and depends on the activity we do per day. We should have different protein intake. The general rule of thumb is 1 gram of protein per kilo of weight. That's the sort of the rough average throughout the day. So if you're 80 kilos, you need to eat roughly about 80 grams of protein, spread out through all your meals, snacks, and all that. If you're an inactive person, that is a little bit less than 1 gram. So it's like 0.8 for women and about 1 gram for men. If you are doing some sort of sports up to 3 times a week, which is the advice, then it bumps up a little bit, and basically means 1 gram for women and 1.2 for men. You can actually even note this down, but if you want, I can share with you. It doesn't matter. The point is, how much should you eat? If you're a really active person and you are actually doing sports about 5 to 6 times a week, it goes even higher. For women is like 1.5, and for men is even 1.7. So it really increases. Athletes might even go up to 2 grams of protein. So it really, really depends on what you do. It varies from 1 gram up to 2 grams of protein. But the general, or even less than 1 gram, but the general rule of thumb is 1 gram of protein. That's one thing. The other thing is that, as you saw, like men, women, they have a little bit of a difference. It's simply because men are differently built than women, and they have more muscles than we do, so they need slightly more protein than we do. But the trick here is that you will say like, okay, 80 grams of protein, I'm basically gonna eat, and I need like 60 grams of protein throughout the day. So I'm gonna make sure that I get 3 meals, and each of my meals are gonna have, 20 grams of protein. That's great. The thing is that you shouldn't go up, and we should try not to go up than 25 grams of protein per meal. Why? Because just like anything else in life, too less is not good, but too much is also not good, no matter how good it might be. Our body stores. With the exception of some things, many of the food that we're going to eat, it stores, and I'm not going to go into the metabolic details, but basically and unfortunately, the protein stores, the body transfers extra protein per meal. The body is not going to use, and it's going to store, and unfortunately it goes in the form of fat. The thing here is, again, remember, we shouldn't go more than roughly about 25 grams of protein per meal, right? So if you need to eat more protein, don't increase the amount of protein in a meal. No, spread it out across more meals. That way you're going to make sure that you actually get everything you need. Different types of protein, in different types of food. As I mentioned, we have the animal-based protein. Animal-based protein, I will touch on that a little bit later, without being judgmental in any way. I'm kind of the messenger in this, but it has quite a lot of protein. So animal-based protein has a lot of per 100 grams of protein, because that's the standard measurement per 100 grams of weight. Also on the labels, you're going to see that. in the animal-based protein, the percentage in the animal-based food, the percentage of protein is pretty high. So it can go from like 20 grams, 17, 80 to 25, 26, 27 grams of protein per 100 grams. Then we have the dairy products. The dairy products and eggs and all that, they're also pretty good source of protein. I have like a table that I can share with you guys or let you know, because there's the point of it, right? Like how many grams of protein per food group, but this is just very, very rough. Then sort of the second one, into the amount of protein per 100 grams comes the dairy product, so milk, eggs, and those kind of cheese, those kinds of things. And then comes the nuts and the seeds. They're also relatively high on the scale. And then of course we have like the bread and pasta. They also have certain grams of protein. We have the seeds I mentioned. We have also the beans. Beans are very, very good source of protein. And then what you have, what I love, is of course all kinds of supplements. I'm a big fan of Herbalife Nutrition. I use it for many years now. I love to do that because I'm not going to go in details, but basically saved my life. I was risking diabetes too. I was overweight. I had very high blood pressure. So the good food, balanced food, healthy food, together with the supplements that, so I could supplement my nutrition intake, actually helped me come to so far the best shape of my life. So I love to use that, and I use it every day. That doesn't mean that you have to do it. It's just I'm a mom. I have 3 kids. Full schedule, running my own business, doing coaching people, all that. So I kind of take very, very healthy shortcuts. So sort of fast food for smart people. Right. So. The advice, and you're going to hear this very often, and I think I'm going to go a little bit over the planned half an hour, but it's very important. So without going into discussion about, that's not my intention. I don't want to go into the discussion about what is better. Is it better to eat plant-based protein, or is it better to eat animal-based protein, or would you like to mix? That is all up to you. If you like to eat meat, eat meat. If you don't like to eat meat, don't eat meat. If you like to eat fish, eat fish. If you like to eat milk, whatever. I'm not here to tell you what you should or shouldn't do for yourself, because that is up to you. We are all grown-ups. We decide that for ourselves. The point is that our body needs everything. So if we cut on one thing, we should supplement it with something else. Although, now having said that, and of course everything has its sort of pros and cons, right? So it's you take off here something and you need to balance it off here with something else. The point of this chat is that the general advice nowadays is that we should eat more plant-based protein. I personally love the combination. So at home, what we do is we have a couple of times a week where we're going to eat animal-based protein, and a couple of days a week. So it's like roughly, let's say, 3 days a week we're going to eat meat, and 4 days a week we're not going to eat meat. So we kind of balance it. Why there is a tendency for more advice on the plant-based protein? For a couple of reasons. And it's not really for saving the planet, because it's not really saving the planet. But we're not going to go into the detail, due to the way that you need to feed the cows or the chicken, so that food needs to grow somewhere. But we're not going to go into that. That's not the point of this. The point of this is that why the general advice is to have the tendency of eating more plant-based protein, because the plant-based protein, or let's say the other way around, the animal-based protein has more saturated fats, which we don't really want to bring into our body, or get it as low as possible. And the plant-based proteins have more of the good the good fat or the unsaturated fat. The other reason is that the way that you can control a little bit the quality of the protein in the plant-based protein is something that our body recognizes easier than on the animal-based. But again, I love to eat meat. I was for about 3.5 years a vegetarian. I loved it. I started eating meat, love it again. So it's all really up to you. Plant-based protein has more phytonutrients, so the color, what brings the color into the plants, which is very important for us, the antioxidant and all that. And they also have the plants have more naturally fiber, which you're not gonna find in the animal-based. And the question is, okay, would you like to really sort of more protect the planet? Would that be your reason, yes or no? That I leave it up to you. All the different types of protein that we have, our body recognizes, or our body can digest better or not so good. Depends on the type of protein we are eating. So there are types of proteins that our body recognizes and absorbs with a very high percentage. And you will be surprised. You can guess, but the protein that our body, and it's one of the most complete types of protein as well, and the protein that our body recognizes and digests 100% and absorbs 100% is soya protein. So the soya bean type of protein out of all the plant and out of all the other proteins. Then you have the milk, the casein, that comes from the dairy. It's also something that on a very high level is absorbed by our body. You have the protein in the eggs. You have the protein. They all have a certain level of or let's say number that it gets absorbed in our body. But one of the highest out there, is actually the soy-based, the plant-based soya-based protein. So this is just for you to know. And I will not go into the whole discussion of the soya protein because that's also not the purpose of it. I'm just kind of bringing the message to you guys that don't be afraid of how shall I say, soya-based products or soya-based supplements, because they're actually doing much better to much greater good to our body than what we are afraid of all the things we hear, we read, half understand, half don't understand, So keep that thought. Now, general advice. When you have to pick and select your protein, and if you eat all the types of protein, first advice is you go for fish, because fish also has naturally the healthy fat, the omega-3. Different fish, but generally go first for fish. So you if you want, you can even note this down. But advice is first fish. Then second is poultry, chicken, turkey. Those are relatively low-fat types of animal protein. Then the advice is go for, as a third, sort of go on the dairy type of protein, so milk, and those are the ones that I sort of previously mentioned, so milk, cheese, and all that. And then, as a last resort, sort of out of the animal-based protein, go for the beef and the meat, the meat-based protein. So that's like the general advice. The first is always and still remains, as a general rule of thumb, plant-based protein. Up to you how you want to mix this and match into your daily life. So, 8 minutes over time. A little summary. When we talk about healthy, we also need to make sure and remember that we need to keep my light went out. So we need to also make sure that we keep the balance. So not only eating healthy, but keeping the balance. Make sure you eat enough protein, because the protein is the one that is not going to only help you, the muscles and all that, but really is going to keep you the hunger control, the hunger sort of cravings, let's say, or the hunger momentum is going to keep it under control. So you're going to feel full for a longer period of time. That means that it's going to control also your need for snacking. So that's good news. If you're full, you're going to eat less, which means that your calorie intake is going to go down. The calorie intake is going to go down without you compromising on your health. That's also very important. Rule of thumb, 1 gram of protein per kilo of weight. Very general rule of thumb. If you are non-active, you need to sort of go a little bit less than that, especially if you're a woman. If you're active more than 3 times a week, you need to bump up the protein intake. Where you take the protein from, it is up to you. If you want to come to me, I'll share with you all this sort of overview of the types of protein. Another rule of thumb, aim for maximum 20 grams of protein per meal or snack. Otherwise, body is going to store it. And last but not least, make sure that no matter what you do, you combine protein with all the other important parts, as we mentioned. So healthy carbs, vitamins, minerals, salads, fruits, water, all that. So this is very, very important. So I'm actually 10 minutes over time. It was a very important topic. It is a very important topic. So you guys, if you feel you have really benefited out of any of this, make sure that next time you invite your friends. Every Monday, 9 o'clock, live, Facebook, Instagram. So make sure you invite your friends. You might be able to help somebody. You might be able to improve somebody's life without you even sort of intentionally wanting to do that. So tag them, share this video. I'll put it up on YouTube as well, so you can also share it if you want. That's first. And it's also much more fun with friends, right? Second is, if you feel like you have learned something and you feel like you want to improve something and change something, reach out to me, let me know. I'll drop a link after this video for a free online fit and wellness check. I have a couple of questions that I'm going to ask you guys there, just to get a general understanding of what is it that you want to do, what is it that you want to improve, change, and so on and so forth. And I'm going to give you follow up with you guys with a free advice of what is it that you can change. I think that would be it. I hope you liked it. I think for me, I start with protein because it is the building block in our body, and it is one of the most important things we kind of tend to forget. So I'll end on this note, guys. Wishing you a very, very lovely evening. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, reach out. Feel free to let me know if you have any questions. Be happy to help. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay positive. Hopefully this is over quite soon. I see you guys again next Monday for the School of Nutrition, 9 o'clock, and otherwise tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock, 9 a.m. Amsterdam time, that is, for the Wellness Emergency Workout Guide. So we're going to get that food under control, we're going to get that workout under control, and before you know it, we come out of this quarantine or lockdown or whatever you guys are facing. We're going to come out of it completely new people. And that's going to be super cool. So, love you guys. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Bye.